nobody's ever seen his face.
Why?
Because he kills everyone who does.
Whoa.
Cool.
No, not cool.
A bit cool.
Can I kick it?
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Mutant Mayhem, the newest TMNT film since the last animated TMNT film that nobody seems to talk about anymore, but was also good. This is the latest reimagining of the Teenage Mutants from New York City sewers that, before it was even widely released, was already greenlit for a sequel and an animated TV show for the Nickelodeon network. That really isn't much of a surprise given the constant reimagining and rebranding of TMNT as a franchise. Seems like every time one series ends, it waits a couple years and then a new series starts. Considering that the last animated show, Rise of the TMNT, ended in 2020, officially it was paused and never actually canceled, but come on, it's been 3 years. I think you all need to accept that it's over, it's done. I don't think it's ever coming back. It makes sense Nickelodeon would reboot the franchise yet again. This time the Turtles are being produced by Seth Rogen, of all people, with Gravity Falls alumni Jeff Rowe directing, who has a very interesting style, I must say. This is an official reboot of the series and goes in a different direction than most people would be familiar with. The film follows the group of mutant teens as they try to become heroes so the humans walking above would like them and accept them. They team up with a young, intrepid student journalist named April O'Neil and try to track down a group of mutants led by a mutant known as Superfly. This new version is distinct from everything else, as all of the mutants were previously animals and not people. Splinter literally was just a rat who watched and perfected a ninja training video, which, okay, that detail felt really dumb to me. I always liked Splinter being a human before, and his relationship with the Shredder and everything else going in with him. I just think it's way more interesting and makes so much more sense as to how he would know ninjutsu or ninja skills. Learning it from a VHS tape just feels a little odd, but whatever, sure, I'll accept it. I'll appreciate the new direction since it is relatively new for the franchise as far as I know, and could be something new to go off of. This is also the first time that the Turtles have actually been voiced by real teens and not adults, giving them a pseudo older teenage voice, but actual voices around the 15-year-old range. Leonardo, Raphael, Donatello, and Mikey are voiced by, in the same order, Nicholas Cantu, Brandy Noon, Mika Abbey, and Shimon Brown Jr. They're fine as far as voices go, nothing too stand out. The team is broken though when it comes to April O'Neil, voiced by Ayo Edebiri, who is 27 as far as Google says and not a teenager, so that kind of cohesiveness is a little bit lost, but she's fine as well. Jackie Chan as Splinter is also just okay. He has a surprisingly large part in the film as well, trying to be a good role model for his adopted kids while also overcoming his own prejudices, which is a little awkward to say after all that drama came out earlier when this movie was coming up about Jackie Chan's daughter that he allegedly disowned for being a lesbian. Now that's not actually true. Just to clarify, Jackie Chan has never met or really acknowledged his daughter because she was the result of an affair and he's never been in her life, and she has actually stated that he's never been in her life, she doesn't view him as a father, so that's it. When confronted about his views on LGBTQ plus issues and how they pertain, Jackie Chan is a little mute on the subject, but he seems accepting, saying, not a direct quote, but he said that if they like it, that's good for them. Given that he still lives in China and is very, very close with the Chinese government, which is very anti-LGBTQ plus stuff, it makes sense that he would keep his voice down and acceptance about it, which sucks, but that's the world we live in. So either way, no, Jackie Chan did not disown his daughter for being a lesbian. Other names of note in this are Seth Rogen and John Cena as Bebop and Rocksteady, although Bebop for once doesn't do the Rogen laugh. crazy, I know. And thank God, I'm so tired of that laugh. And Cena clearly had a pitch shift down to play Rocksteady, because he does not sound recognizable at all. Neither say very much though, which goes for most of the mutants sadly, aside from Ice Cube as Superfly himself, which is great. What's hilarious is his dialogue is nearly entirely composed of Ice Cube lyrics at several points in the film. He'll just straight up throw in a reference to one of his own songs.
6 in the morning, police at my door.
And Ice Cube is the best voice in here. He kills it and is clearly having a ball in the sound booth. Everyone overall seems to be having fun, but he is really enjoying it, and it is very easy to tell. I do like how the core teens play off of each other, the movie smartly allowing the kids to be full of random inside jokes, making fun of each other, but still holding together nicely as a family. I guess the teenage angst hasn't quite kicked in yet, but it is refreshing to see the turtles actually act their ages and goof around in a believable way. Also, and I know this is going to be divisive, but I really like this art style. I know some people don't, but I just think it's great. Everything is unique and jagged and textured like a Psychonauts or Paranorman drawing. It's wildly unique, and it gives the film some much needed flair. What does confuse me though, is that I feel like this style would benefit a bit more if it was a full-on claymation film like Paranorman. Granted, it would be difficult to do and take a tremendous amount of time and effort, which probably explains why it's not a claymation film, but I still think that this style and the story itself would translate better to stop motion. The CGI is fine, it looks really good, but I feel it misses the magic that a physical puppet and set would be able to provide, especially with these highly detailed character models. I think it just makes a lot of sense to do, but like I said, it's expensive and time consuming, so I can understand why a studio like Nickelodeon would want to not put that much money into that. That also being said, this is a good movie, but there are a few things about it that rub me the wrong way. The story is okay for the most part. I think it's serviceable enough. The twists really aren't all that interesting, and the character journeys are a bit predictable, but it's still enjoyable. The jokes are hit or miss, but the absolute sheer amount of random pop culture references and product placement baffles me. I don't need the Turtles or Splinter talking about how they're going to eat Doritos, or what BTS songs they like, or whether Donnie watches anime that is somehow relevant to the plot in a not good, absurd way. Seriously, it is extremely distracting, and it takes me out of the film, and it happens constantly. It's like if watching SpongeBob suddenly taking a detour to install Pepsi products at the Krusty Krab and has to use Pepsi Zero to beat Plankton or something, to stick with the Nicktoons theme anyway. It's dumb. It's incredibly stupid. And there are way too many moments like that in this film, which is just frustrating for me, but maybe some other people can shrug it off. No, that's just a nitpick that really bugs me. Maybe it won't bug you, maybe other people are able to kind of roll with the punches a little better. Also, for a movie called Mutant Mayhem, the actual other mutants sure don't get a lot of lines or screen time, which is a real shame. Their designs are cool, the voice talent is top notch, and even though Leatherhead is a woman now, I still want to hear them talk and interact more. And yes, I'm a sucker for Leatherhead. I don't know how many times I have to say it. I like big reptile dudes. Sue me, that's what I like. They just don't get a lot of screen time. The other mutants come in about in the latter half of the movie. And sure, they have a lot of focus, but the focus is still very much square on the turtles until the climax. And that kind of bugs me. I just wanted to see more of these guys because their designs are so cool. And I feel like there's a lot more interactions they could do. They really only have like 2 interactions between themselves and the turtles, which now that I'm thinking about it, seems like a huge missed opportunity, right? Granted, they are prolonged interactions, but only having 2 feels a little odd, especially for the resolution in this film. I just want to hear them all talk and interact more. I guess we will in the sequel, but this movie could have spent just a little more time with them, maybe throw in a whole other interaction at some point, maybe earlier in the movie. Otherwise, the pacing in this film film is pretty good. Pretty quick, aside from the first third, which can drag a bit, but that's about it, honestly. It's a nice intro to the new series, and I'm excited to see where they go from here. And please, do some sort of claymation project. I feel these designs really need it. It just makes so much sense to me. Otherwise, this movie works just fine. A bit cliche here or there, but the overall product is extremely solid. I mean, what does it say when all of my issues are essentially nitpicks and things that bother me, but maybe not everyone else? If you're a fan of the Turtles, then by all means, see this in theaters. You'll exit with a grin as bright as the mutagenic ooze, but otherwise, I don't think it would hurt you to wait until this is on streaming. What do Nickelodeon shows go on? Is that Paramount Plus now? I guess wait for that if you really don't care about the Turtles, but this is a good film to see in theaters, I think. Overall, TMNT Mutant Mayhem gets an 8 out of 10 from me. Hey guys, thanks for sticking around for another one. I, admittedly, have never been a huge Turtles fan. I used to watch some of the old Saturday morning shows on like Kids WB and Fox Kids, but I never really got into the full series. I know there's been so many different versions, so I don't really know which one to follow. I think the only one that I followed closely was the last animated show on Nickelodeon, the CGI one, before Rise. I think it was just called Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. That was going when I actually got my first job, and my first job was a photographer at the Nicktoons Hotel when that was still around. And one of the big things they did there was a turtle character dinner. So I'd have to go to these dinners, which looked terrible, by the way. It was like a Cece's Pizza buffet, and just walk around taking pictures of the costumed characters. And they also had an April, which was very funny now that I think about it. But yeah, that was my first job. Weird to see the Turtles doing this now. I never watched Rise, so I don't really have an opinion of it. I do like the designs in Rise, aside from Splinter. I don't like Splinter's design in this one either. I think it's weird, but I guess that fits in with a lot of the designs in this film. The designs are incredibly odd and strange and have these very sharp yet rounded angles at the same time. It's just really cool to look at. I really like it. I'm not kidding when I say that this looks like something from Psychonauts. It just matches really well. If you plop Raz out and stick him in here, he'd fit in just fine with everything else. Otherwise, I don't know. I know that's a divisive topic. I don't know what other people think. What do you guys think? Do you like these designs? Do you want to see something else? Are you hyped for the sequel? I'm not going to spoil what they revealed in the mid-credits scene, but I'm a little hyped for the sequel. I don't know about the show. I guess we'll see when and if it comes out. There's no release date yet, but still, let me know in the comments below. And after that, don't forget to like the video, subscribe, ring that bell so you don't miss a video. Follow my socials if you want down in the corner on Twitter, not X. Screw X, that's a dumb name. And that's it. Have a great day, and if you're not, have a better one. See ya.
I'm just a ghost in your stereo. The fading memory of a shipwreck in the undertow. You're just a lost soul. And I'm just a ghost in your stereo.